Carry on, Vincent, maybe give a little bit of context.
Yes. So I was saying within Trove, one of the main kind of design criteria is this idea of linked data, so that things you can very easily explore and find things related to what you're looking for and what's relevant for you. And so one of those areas which we just kind of like launched this week is being able to do that with topics. And within the next few weeks are going to expand topics to also include locations. And so, for example, like if I go to like the Kiko Lab event, then this event is linked to a community. And so when you go to the event page, you're able to see the different communities that are related to this event. And then if you click on that community, it takes you right to the community page. So then within the community page, there's also, like, for example, the call repository. And so if you go to the call repository and you're interested in things that are at the intersection of Kiko Lab and something that you're interested in, for example, education, then you're able to filter and search the call repository by that topic. So I just added this feature where you can go to like the topics discussed, and let's say you wanted to, let's see, what's a topic that that has a good amount of information on it. So the commons, for example. So if you filter events by the commons, then it's going to show you all the events that are related to that topic. And so the topics are all underneath each one of these calls here. And if you click one of those topics, then, so for example, leadership. So if you click the leadership topic, then it's going to take you to a topic page for leadership, which will eventually show you thousands of things related to leadership. So what are all of the events happening in the next few weeks related to leadership? What are all the past events? What are all the communities? And so right now, so you can see like the event is here under this topic page of leadership. And then you can also click and see all the communities that are interested in leadership. And so maybe I can go to, let's see. So what I'm kind of working on next is being able to actually explore these topics as well. I think I spelled it wrong.
Got an extra O in there.
I think I actually spelled it wrong, and so I haven't fixed it yet.
One after 404. That's a Beatles tune, I think, isn't it? One after 404.
Copiox.
So basically, here's the topic education, which I've started kind of adding a lot of different resources and projects related to, well, actually, not just me, other people have, this is one of the topics that has been like most used. So just to get an idea of kind of what this might look like in the future. So basically, you can actually, I want to make it visible to be able to see the relationships between things. And so you could actually see like education is related to these other topics and it's a type domain, and then you could have a main topic. And so these are all the different projects that are tagged with education. Then there's two events that have talked about education that are already in the call repository. And then there's different communities about education, and there's also topics. So these are like the related topics. And so here you have like, quality education is one of the SDGs. And so that topic is related to the topic of education. And if you click to that related topic, then you get to the topic page for that. And so, Simon, to answer your question, each location will have its own page where you could then see what are the communities, what are the intentional communities, what are the events, what are the businesses. So you're able to kind of then aggregate all the information around a specific tag, right? And so one of those tags is going to be the location, to be able to do the same thing around location. And then that's going to make it a lot easier for communities that are place-based to be able to see like the whole network of this city or this state or this country.
Perfect.
So I haven't forgotten about you. Just busy trying to get everything together.
Super cool. You know, so we're still recording and we can pause anytime anyone wants to, but I wanted to bring up, since we were talking about intentional communities earlier, I have two things to say about that. Number one, a large part of the failure of intentional communities is a failure to design them properly, right? Like, for example, notably Arco Santi, a classic original intentional community in the Southwest, they were very focused on architecture, right? And they forgot or neglected so many other aspects of people living together, that you had this space age looking architecture, but a cluster mess of other problems, because, you know, it's very hard to have holistic design when you have one designer. So collective intelligence, what we're doing right here, is actually a perfect platform for collectively, holistically designing intentional communities. That's point number one. Point number two is that I believe that in this space, we are creating intentional communities. They're virtual intentional communities, as Simon pointed out earlier. And therefore, you've got a lot fewer constraints. They're kind of a lot harder to mess up, because you don't have to worry about a whole bunch of things. You know, it's just about how do we, you know, it's about topics and conversations and events. And so it's a lot easier to design holistically for virtual intentional communities than for a physical intentional community. And one of the things I love about looking at collective intelligence as intentional community is, one of the beauties of intentional communities is specialization and division of labor. So, you know, the guy whose job it is to repair the bicycles, that's someone who loves repairing bicycles, has all the tools, has all the spare parts, and just does it way more efficiently than someone who's not mechanically inclined to try to fix their own bike. And then in exchange, right, the guy who just got his bike fixed is now happily chopping carrots and making food for the bicycle guy and everybody else in the intentional community. So the whole idea of a network of conversations is, as opposed to like a network of bike shop, communal kitchen, communal laundry, communal, you know, sports library, etc., is we have specialized conversations on these different topics that all can draw from. And anyway, just wanted to point out, make those points. And Ray's got his hand up. Go for it, Ray.
Yeah, when I was talking to that group about intentional communities, and I described Celestia's vision for what he called the Sacred Lifeline Project, as this intentional community that's going to be a model for the rest of the world. I said, well, I can imagine one of the reasons why intentional communities don't succeed is that not everybody's on the same page. It's going to be some variation of not everybody's on the same page. And think about what I said. Some people want to be part of an intentional community to escape the world, to have nothing to do with the rest of the world and whatever kind of systems they've committed to. And some want to present to the world. Those are opposites. How can those people live together if one is an extrovert and the other one's an introvert? So, I mean, you really have to have people on the same page in order for it to work. And I read Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, and he talks about that observed anthropological figure of 150 individuals. 150 people can know each other pretty well. Beyond that, you need to have gossip. You have to have a form of structure that goes, oh, who's this guy? Do you know this guy? So there's a little bit more of a extended umbrella of trust, because everybody has to have trust in this situation. So that's an extended trust. And to get beyond that, you need some sort of shorthand, like a belief system, like religion. Oh, they're Catholic? Okay, they're cool then, probably. Yeah.
Hilarious.
So how big are intentional communities? Because you talk about the the hippie communities in the '60s, they probably weren't that very big. Certainly not pushing 150 or 300 people. I may be wrong. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about that in a minute. Vincent needs to run. Any other comments or questions for Vincent? For my part, Vincent, great seeing you. Super awesome. I'm really blessed that we have this Friday check-in and excited to see the progress. Any other final comments, Vincent, or Vincent related, before we let Vincent off the hook?
Brother Vincent, thank you so much for all the great work you're doing. And it's so great that you come in here regularly now. This is really amazing. And I hope you keep it up and come be here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sister Ivy. Yeah, thanks, Shaman. Simon, let's find a time to connect this week or next week. Definitely have lots of other updates, definitely particular to your project specifically. And yeah, I have to run, but yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next week.